Well, thank you, Tim. And just can't tell you how proud I am to be here today and on the 40th anniversary. When we started the Calgary Academy back in 1981, there was about 30 or 40 kids from Calgary, from Alberta, going down to the Denver Academy, and I can remember the parents all getting together and saying,
I'm just moving.
"What am I doing wrong?"
Nothing. I just want to move this over here. Everybody put your papers there.
Oh, I see. Good. And we decided this is nuts, so we got to start the Calgary Academy. And it was the Denver Academy that helped us and got us started, some of their protocols and teaching and what have you. And we started with 30 or 40 children, students in a rented public school that was empty. And then we moved from school to school in the 80s. I think many of you have heard these stories before, but in the 1990s there was a difficult time because we just simply couldn't move from school to school. The teachers, the parents, the students weren't sure where we're going to be in the fall. And sometimes you wouldn't find out until April or May which school was designated for our use. And then, of course, it was empty and we had to do some work, and it was difficult. So in the 90s, we decided we were either going to buy our own little part of land and build our own school, or there just wasn't a future for the school. And fortunately, we found this chunk of land, this 20 acres that we ended up purchasing. I'm not even going to tell you what we paid for it. It was so little compared to today. You're going to say, well, why didn't you buy more? Now that's what everybody says in all those circumstances. So we did survive, and we grew. And in the 1990s, the rest of the 1990s, and then right up till today, there has been a period of building the platform, I call it. What I do want to say that in addition to pride, I think it's very important to recognize that you recognize Jim Chapot, the Chapot wing over here, and Jim Chapot was chairman of the board for years and did a wonderful job. My good friend Doug Rogan, who I'm going to go and visit later on this afternoon, he has been involved from the first days. And then, of course, we had Peter and Barry, who many of you have met, and they and Hal Anderson played a very, very important role in establishing the platform upon which we're going to build. Now, Tim's going to talk about the present, and Greg's going to talk about the great future for the school. And I just wanted to leave you with this thought that those of us that have been involved since actually we met in our living room back in 1980 when we decided to start the school in 1981, a group of parents. Some of them aren't with us anymore, but every one of them would be enormously proud of the school today. It's and as I've said many times, as we've all said many times, the strength of the school is in the classroom. The teachers, the students, that's where our reputation gets rooted, that's where our reputation is established, and we recognize that from day one. That you don't get known by putting ads in the paper or putting signs on the highway. You get known by teachers and students. You get known by your reputation. You get known by word of mouth. And that is the way you get deep roots in your reputation, rather than just shallow roots. And so the classroom and you teachers are absolutely, you're the heart of gold for this organization and this school. So on behalf of the board of directors, I want to, and we have a very, very strong board. And by the way, when we started the school, we decided two things the very first day. Number one, if you can afford to send your kids to school, you pay the full dollar. But if you can't, we'll help you. And I'm so pleased that in the intervening years, we've spent $5 to $6 million helping people send their children to the Calgary Academy when they didn't have the resources to do so. So when somebody, a single mom or you name it, and we've had people move to Calgary from somewhere else in order that their children could go to the Calgary Academy. And it is so rewarding for those of us who have been involved for a long time to get that kind of feedback. And that feedback, as I mentioned, starts in the classroom, starts with the teaching protocols. So thanks all of you for all that you do. You're the heart and soul of the school, and it is enormously appreciated. Thank you.
Too much time, but many of you I probably haven't told the story to, but I first heard about CA through Paul Brandt, if you can believe that. So I got set up on a blind date with his sister-in-law, and they were there, and my brother and sister-in-law were there. Anyway, she had no interest in me whatsoever, but she was talking about CA because she used to teach here. And it was really cool. So I heard about CA in the fall, I think it was, and in the winter applied to this place because a job popped up. Didn't get an interview until like July. Was doing my first week of my master's degree. I'd started my master's degree through U of C and met Alex McDonald, who some of you might know, a long-time person that taught at Calgary Academy many years ago. She was telling me about CA too. I was so excited I was getting this interview with Barry that summer. And from that point on, 20 years I've been here, and people are always like, "Whoa, you've been here a long time." Not as long as some, but yeah, it's been a long time here. But it's also been a place that's given me a ton of opportunity, a ton of growth. If you saw me, if you remember me my first year, wide-eyed kid, really coming out of teaching Northern BC for a couple of years, but didn't really know what I was getting into. But such an exciting place to be a part of, and a family here. And those folks that are just with us, starting with us in the last couple of years, or even this summer, you probably feel it already. That this is a neighborhood, this is a family of people that get together. And families have challenges too. You know, families do have difficulties that they have with each other at times, and we work through those things. And we've talked about that over the last couple of years, especially with COVID. But just a few notes today. You know, if we're talking about the president, you hear me talking about the president a lot. So today we're the biggest we've ever been. You know, I think this year's student population will probably be the largest we've ever had, even bigger than last year. We've got the most staff that we've ever had. Bigger's not always better, but I think in our case, it shows that we have capacity and we have room to grow, and we've got, and not just grow size-wise, but to grow professionally and for our kids. We talk about having kids as our number one priority around here, and that's what rings true to me and what rings true to you, I'm sure, as well. So as we celebrate 40 years in Calgary, we're all part of this, whether we've been here for 3 weeks or 3 years or 30 years. We're all part of what CA is and what we're going to be into the future as well. In the last 2 years, we chatted about it. We probably want to start forgetting about it now, but it's been hard slogging the last year and a half. And I am thankful all the time when I talk about this place and the people I work with that have worked so hard to get us through this, and it wasn't easy, and we're still not through it, but we're here together. We're probably more tired than we've ever started the school year before as well. I feel that too. But we're more strong and capable as an organization as well. So lots of things that we've done over the last couple of years as well, and as we're building into our future, starting a kindergarten program with Bev and Michelle, creating such an amazing experience there for kids, and we're looking to grow that over the next few years as well. Starting a Blended Plus program, like who would ever thought that we'd be doing something like that 5 years ago? But that's really where the puck is heading in a lot of ways. So that is the future of education for a lot of kids. So we're excited about leading the charge in that way. We don't think there's any other school in Alberta for sure that's doing something like that right now. So we're united by our passion for the kids. I know that. And they continue to be the most important part of what we do and the target of what we do daily. So again, excited to be in this place and this time together with you right now. and on the precipice of what next week looks like and jumping back into it again with all of its fun and excitement and challenges and struggles, and we'll be there together, I know. So one thing I want to let you know about, I'm pretty excited about as well. I'm thrilled to share this with you. Our committee that put this together. Yeah, hi Greg. I could feel it out here. The organization has actually purchased a special anniversary jacket for each of you. Yeah. Oh, and I would like to direct your attention to the back where our models are coming in. Is there a reason? Yeah, that's great. Thank you. That's wonderful. You get to take them home today. These are adjustable jackets. The sleeves can actually be removed. Can you remove a sleeve for us? Oh, look at that. Oh, gosh. Remember? Remember professionalism? Okay, like I talked this morning. Good. So, thank you. Thank you. You're not done yet. Nope, not done yet. When today's presentation is over, we will invite you to, the ladies can go to the staff room on the high school side. Your jackets are there, and the guys are in the front office there, and you can grab your jacket there. And I'm going to introduce Greg now to speak about the future of Calgary United.
Thanks, Tim. Good afternoon, everyone. It's nice to see you. It's not like first time I've seen you. It's nice to see you. We were apart for about an hour or so. I just want to say about the models, first and foremost, Natalie, Patricia did an awesome job. Not sure about the third model. I'm just kidding, of course, Pat. You know I love you. Really hard to follow that. I mean, Tim, what a great and exciting sort of tribute to where we're at today, and looking a little bit ahead and a little bit back. And to follow the esteemed Jim Gray, I mean, really tough. I'm going to step back just for a minute. I don't know if I've ever told this story, how I ended up here. I'm not sure if you're that concerned, but left government. I really wanted to help organizations, educational organizations, transform. Was working with some school boards that you would readily know. I'll leave them unnamed for now. Probably the consultant client privilege there. But I was enjoying that, and I got a call from Conrad Ross, Optimum Talent, Scott Dupay, who I know reasonably well, and said, look, we have somebody we want you to sit down and meet. And I was like, I'm kind of enjoying what I'm doing right now, but okay. And it was Jim at Brookfield. Do you remember that? It was Jim and Patty. And we broke bread together, had a sandwich, and after an hour and a half, I mean, how do you say no to Jim Gray? I mean, he's so inspirational. You can't help but love the man and love his vision for kids and education, and I was hooked. And it's been an incredible journey for me personally so far at this this set of institutions, and it's just a privilege to work with Tim and your leadership team and all the executive team and all of you here, whether you're brand new, 13 or 14 brand new staff we have, or the people that have been here for 30 plus years. It is an honor. So I won't touch any more on the past or the present, but looking ahead, I mean, what an exciting time in our history. When I look back, and I look back at all of the people that kept the lights on in this organization, and there were some tough times. Jim is understating that a little bit. For us to be embarking upon our 40th year is incredible. But to be future focused, it's really, we have a decision to make here and now with the next foot we put forward on how we're going to orient ourselves for the next 40. And as I look forward, not to the immediate future, but longer term, I mean, some of the things that we have going for us, I mean, for the first time in our history, we have 3 independent strategic plans. We have a philanthropy structure that's been built in this organization that is going to go after not only building a culture of philanthropy, which other independent schools have, and we don't yet, but they're also going to drive a capital campaign, a $25 million campaign that is going to see this place modernized to really catch up with the practices that are going on day in, day out for our learners. I look at HLS and an aggressive 10-year plan that starts in January of 2022 to get out to no less than 15 Indigenous communities to alter the trajectory of those youth. It's a pretty powerful mission, and all the other work going on in HLS. The future for us is incredibly bright. As Tim said, we're hitting an enrollment. We go back to 2017. We had 456 students, grades 5 to 12 in collegiate, grades 2 to 12 in CA, and no wait list. We're going to close the books now with a third program, Blended Plus. We'll be somewhere around 660, and we're pushing the envelopes at 660. You can see the renovations we've done just to accommodate students and classroom spaces. We will most likely hover at this number until we are able to, get our phase 1, phase 2 of our modernization complete, and then we can look to see we have opportunities moving forward. Jim challenged me again just this summer. What are we doing to lead the changes in education? And I would say what I said to Jim when we broke bread a couple weeks ago in my office is what I'll say to all of you. It's the people in this room that have the innovative sort of thinking and spirit as we move forward in this organization to really provide for our students the opportunity to lead well into the second half of the 21st century. That's not to be disparaging of the education system that we all grew up in. It is to recognize that a system that was built well over 100 years ago, that has changed, don't get me wrong, it has changed in a lot of ways, but it's to examine all facets of it because we know that the society we live in today and the society that our students are going to graduate into, those kindergarten students that are joining us this year, will graduate in, test my math skills, 2033? Is that about right? I don't know what the world's going to look like in 2033, but I know everyone in this organization cares deeply about what we do day in, day out for those learners, and we had better ask ourselves, how will we best prepare them for their future success? As the same conversation was happening in 1981 when this school opened its doors to 30 or 35 students. So I'm convinced with the power of the group that we have here, 156 strong, 3 organizations that now have a vision that we can drive towards. We've developed a culture of accountability here where what we say in those strat plans we go after. We don't always get it right, but darn it, we dust ourselves off and we strive to continue to improve all the time. That's an organization that I'm so proud to be a part of, and I'm very excited for our students and our families. Watch out for Calgary Academy, Headwater Learning Solutions, and Headwater Learning Foundation in the future. Very, very exciting. So thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, weekend, and we come back next week fired up and ready to go. It's been a pretty intense, 9 days, not quite 10 yet. But I want to leave you with this. Something that I try to live by. 2 things, actually. I was told a few years ago, isn't it a wonderful thought? Because as you start to get older, for all the really young people in here, you don't know what I'm talking about yet. Looking at Alora and some of the others. But when you start to get to be my age, this advice rings true. Isn't it a wonderful thought that some of the best days in your life you haven't yet experienced? And it's that type of optimism that drives me, because I know that each and every day I have an opportunity to make a difference in my personal life, as a father, husband, all that stuff, but to make a difference in my professional life here with all of you, for the students that we serve, those Indigenous students that we serve in remote communities. And I get out of bed each morning knowing that, is this the day when I create another memory that I'm going to look back on that's incredible? And I encourage you to find your own personal mission, drive, and emphasis, but we have the opportunity to shape that future. And so it really comes down to the type of sort of culture and community that we want to have, and that sense of optimism. And what we do every moment, we have no opportunity to change the past. This year we're going to celebrate the past, the 40th anniversary, and all the work of the people that you've already had the sort of discussion about all the events this year. It's going to be an incredible year. And we have the opportunity on how we orient ourselves each and every day to shape that future. And it's going to be extraordinarily exciting. Thank you very much to each and every one of you for choosing this organization for your passion. You could work anywhere, and you've chosen here. Many of you have chosen to stay here for many, many years, so it's a great place. But thank you for that. Together, we're going to shape an incredible future. Thanks very much.